Good morning from Muddy Creek Poodles. Please excuse the frizzy hair and the lack of makeup. It's all pretty much due to a lack of give a darn today. Anyway, there are a few things, actually two, that I want to discuss today. Two things that have been making me absolutely crazy, like more than my normal crazy, like over the top crazy. People have been contacting me lately, asking me if I have, sorry about the ticking, I don't know what this thing is, but I'm going to make it stop. No, I'm not going to make it stop ticking. I don't know where my regular rig is. There we go. It'll quit ticking now. Anyway, people have been contacting me, asking me if I have teacup poodles. There's no such thing as a teacup poodle. If you find a breeder advertising teacup poodles, you probably don't want to buy their dogs. Not because I say there's no such thing as a teacup poodle. AKC and the Poodle Club of America, say anything under 10 inches, well, 10 inches and under is a toy poodle. Therefore, there cannot be a teacup poodle, it is a toy. When people advertise teacup poodles, it is a marketing ploy, basically. They're trying to sell you a super small toy poodle, and they want a lot more money for it. First thing I would do if I saw somebody advertising teacup poodles is ask them if their breeding stock has been genetically tested, at the very least for PRA and PRCD. Those are eye diseases that are common in badly bred poodles. You should always have your breeding stock tested for those things. You might want to ask them if their breeding dogs have tight knees. Although in toy dogs, tight knees means that they haven't yet jumped off the couch and blown a knee. They have, I shouldn't say blown a knee, but they have very they have very shallow grooves in their knees, toy dogs, almost all of them. And it's called the patella, and there is patellar luxation, which is the knee slipping out of place in these dogs. It's very, very common. You can have a dog with great knees, x-ray, get an OFA certification, they jump off the couch wrong, and that slips out of the groove at the knee, and then you got a problem. A lot of times you can put it back in just by massaging, doing physical therapy, by stretching the knee and whatever. You can go to your vet and have them do it. Then they'll probably want to do a surgery where they deepen that groove so that it doesn't slip out anymore. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is a lot of toy poodles have problems, or a lot of toy dogs have problems with their knees. Just because the parents have great knees doesn't mean the puppies will have great knees. One false jump and, your great knees just went to heck. But anyway, teacup poodles are usually bred down from toy poodles, and all they care about, for the most part, is size. You'll find breeders that are a little more conscientious, but for the most part, they're breeding their smallest dog to their smallest dog to get them smaller and smaller and smaller. They really are not looking for the healthiest dog, the dog with the best bite, the dog with the best eye placement, the dog with the best conformation, the dog with the tightest knees, or the best, probability that you're not going to have a knee problem. You're not finding dogs that have had testing for PRA or PRCD. You're not having dogs that have been tested for anything. You're just having people that are breeding the smallest to the smallest to get the tiniest toy poodle they can get. Now, that's not to say that you don't get tiny toy poodles in good breeding lines. Every good toy poodle breeder gets some tiny dogs. It's just part of the way it goes. You breed your normal stock dogs. My dogs are between 8, they're out there breeding right now. Let's see if I can show you. Okay. Yeah, it's breeding time. Everybody is in heat, and Thor's going crazy, and everybody's in panties, and it's just the most ridiculous thing right now. Oh, look, there's a screw. Yep, that's my house. So anyway, everything is going crazy out there. But when I breed my dogs, they're 8 to 10 inches tall. They all run between 7 and 10 pounds. And I do get tinies. I've had a couple of puppies that never even hit 4 pounds fully grown. You will get tinies a lot in good breeding programs. You just don't breed for that. You don't breed for just the size. I'm breeding the traits that I want into the poodle. I want the nice long legs, the nice short back, so you have a square poodle. I want them as genetically sound as I can get them. I've got health tested dogs by health tested parents. That's how you end up with the best quality dogs. And when you get tiny ones, they're in high demand. But I guess all I'm trying to say is if people are advertising teacup poodles, really look closely at what they're breeding. Ask them the right questions. Do you do health testing? What are your adults like? Can I see them? Can I see any of the test confirmations? Like on my website, I actually have the test for PRA and PRCD results listed up there. And my dogs are tested normal and their parents were all tested normal. So I didn't even have to do the testing because their parents tested normal. So they were not carriers, but I tested mine anyway. That being said, my second pet peeve is doodles. I don't understand why everybody wants to doodle my poodles. Everybody wants to doodle every poodle. Like, what the hell? Why are we doodling the poodle? Poodles are wonderful dogs. Labradors are wonderful dogs. Golden retrievers, old English sheepdogs, Bernese mountain dogs, Shih Tzus. These are great dogs. When you mix them together, you get a mutt. You get an overpriced mutt that you can put oodle on the end of when you speak about it, like Bernedoodle or sheephoos, or let's see, what else do they call them? Labradoodles, golden doodles, Bernedoodles, sheepadoodles. There's so many, they just make me want to cry. These are overpriced mutts. These are not designer dogs. These are not a breed. You cannot take a purebred this and a purebred that and mix it together and get a purebred if they are two different breeds to start with. You mix a poodle with any other breed, you no longer have a purebred dog. You are not getting, even if you have a genetically tested poodle and a genetically tested Labrador, you are not necessarily going to get a wonderful dog. They probably won't have whatever you genetically tested them for, but you're not going to get the best of both worlds. It just doesn't happen. Now, there was a gentleman on the internet I found, Brian, oh my gosh, I'll find his name. But anyway, he said it better than I could have ever said it. So I'm going to read a little bit of what he said. He said, the difference with doodle dogs is they're mutts. There's no established purebred lines. They're not recognized by any legitimate dog club and registry. And they're out of some really fine purebred dogs a lot of the times, but you don't know exactly what you're going to get. The hypoallergenic dog is a myth. There's no such thing as a hypoallergenic dog. It has nothing to do with the coat. It has to do with the dander. Just like with cats, dogs have dander. The poodles being one of the breeds that has very, very little dander. I'm not going to say no dander. No dog has no dander. You're not going to find a completely hypoallergenic dog. I don't care if it's a poodle, a Bichon, a Shih Tzu, a Yorkie. If somebody's claiming they have completely hypoallergenic dogs, they are lying to you. They are having dogs that have less dander than most dogs who don't elicit a allergic response in most people. That doesn't mean they're hypoallergenic. That's a myth. Okay. The cost of my poodles is all directly related to the breeding stock I have. My dogs all cost in the neighborhood of $3,000 a piece. 3 of them have been imported from Russia. They are from some of the best world-class show lines and world champion lines in the world. I don't show my dogs. I don't breed my dogs for show. But I can tell you one thing, when you get world champion dogs in your pedigree, those dogs have all been genetically tested. So you know that in your line, when you go back to those dogs that have been championed in world championships, they obviously have been the best of the best, which means they're genetically tested to be free of all the problems that that poodles are susceptible to. Okay, so it says the cost of most purebred dogs, or really any type of purposely bred dog, is legitimate conscientious breeders perform a myriad of tests. Also true. They are, the cost of my puppies is directly related to the cost of my adult dogs, the cost of breeding, the cost of emergency C-sections in the middle of the night, the cost of broken legs, Tara, the cost of everything that I put into the puppies, the research that I've done, down to the gates that I use, like those. They're not cheap. That's fine. My puppy kindergarten, my hours and hours of time that I spend putting into these dogs and cats. No, that's not part of my breeding program. Anyway, the hours that I put into this, there are nights that I spend up all night long with the litter, waiting for them to be born. There are nights I spend all night long, every 2 hours, going in and tube feeding a puppy or bottle feeding a puppy, or making sure all the puppies are always warm and kept near mom. And, you know, sometimes the moms will get up and go to the bathroom, come back in, and they're cold, and they leave with the puppies get chilled. I'm in there constantly with new puppies, making sure everything goes right. Okay, what else this guy said? What someone is paying for when buying a doodle is an extremely overpriced mutt. I agree there. You might as well go to the pound, pick out a mutt, donate a couple $100s to your local rescues. You'd be doing yourself a favor. You'd be doing everybody else a favor. Very few doodle dog breeders do any genetic testing whatsoever. So their overinflated price tags are just because they can say they have these new designer dogs or hypoallergenic. It's not because they put a lot of money into their adult dogs, which they might have. It's not to say that they put any money into genetic testing, which is very, very rare, if ever, with a doodle breeder. I have not yet met a doodle breeder that does any genetic testing whatsoever. If they did this with a small pool of genetic specimens, that would at least lend some credibility to a breeding program. The need for genetic testing is to ensure dogs with undesirable genetic issues are not bred together, and then those genetic issues are reinforced. If the dogs are outcrossed, even more dilution and randomness takes place with the offspring. There's no line breeding produced, but just high-priced mutts being crossed with high-priced mutts, usually by backyard breeders and puppy mills. The other claim is the hypoallergenic, which we already went over. That says, furthermore, research shows that the coat of the dog has little to do with allergic reactions. It's the dander, just like I said before. If you want to pay big bucks for a mutt, go for it. If you want to pay, you spend your hard-earned cash however you like. I don't have any problem with doodles themselves. I've met some really great dogs through my grooming career that are poodle mixes. They're wonderful. They're mutts. You're not going to get exactly what you think you're going to get every single time when you breed two dogs together. You can breed the same poodle with the same Labrador, Golden Retriever, Shih Tzu, whatever you want to breed them with, 6 times and get results that differ in every single litter. You can do that with poodles. I don't always get the same exact colors. I don't always get the same exact sizes. And when you're mixing breeds, you're going to get random results. Let's see. Don't take my word for it, this guy says. The man who started the doodle craze now regrets his actions because of the disingenuous marketing, lack of general care, and inflated prices of them. His doodle craze is now disguised in lies and marketing, perpetuating genetic mistruths and blackening the eyes of purebred dogs and breeding programs. Call me a snob if you want, but those are the facts behind the doodle dogs. You want a pet? Any mutt will do. If you want a dog with consistent type, predictable coat, predictable temperament, there are variations in temperament and personality, but if you want predictability, get a tested, proven, purebred dog from a line of purebred dogs that are tested and from a breeder who knows what they're doing. Don't think you're getting something wonderful and perfect and the best of both breeds when you buy a doodle, because you might be getting something awesome and you might be getting something awful. You just don't know. It's not consistent. That's all I'm trying to say. So there's my rants for the day. They were probably random. I look like heck, but it's me. So I hope you have a great day. And I hope I didn't make anybody too mad.